Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome to Daily's 2A News. As if California couldn't get any worse, it looks like some cities and counties now are requiring psychiatric evaluations that you would have to pay for before getting your CCW. So let's talk about it. So the most recent city that I can find that's now instituting psychiatric evaluations prior to getting your CCW is going to be Murrieta, California. In Murrieta, this is what you have to do in order to get your CCW. You have to go down, fill out the application, pay your fees, get your fingerprints. You have to show proof of residency. You have to show proof of registration of the firearm that you are going to be carrying. And then you also have to pay a fee and submit to a psychiatric evaluation. Now, this is not just any psychiatric evaluation. You have to go to the psychiatrist that's used by the department that you're filling out your CCW for. So the local police department's psychiatrist, essentially. And that psychiatrist can charge you up to $150 per session. And yes, it looks like there can be multiple sessions. Now, when you go to this psychiatric evaluation, you're going to have to talk to somebody. You're going to have to, they're going to have to evaluate you face to face. But they're also going to give you a test. Now, this test is a test that's been used for a long time in order to sort of identify problems in people without them really knowing what they're giving up, the information that they're giving up. It's almost a 600 question test. It's a yes or no, true or false type test. That person would have to fill out that test, which takes anywhere from 60 to 90 minutes, and that's if you work on it pretty constantly. 60 to 90 minutes, and then you turn in that up to 600 question test back to the psychiatrist, who would then evaluate the answers that you gave on that test to determine whether or not you have any disqualifying factors that would keep you from getting a CCW. Now, if you have disqualifying factors on there, or maybe it just raised some questions for the psychiatrist or the psychologist, whatever it is you're going to be seeing, then you would have to go back, pay up to $150 again to see that person, and then they would make their final determination. So you're looking up to $300 just in fees for the psychological exam itself. In Murrieta now. So again, you have to pay for the fingerprints, you have to pay for the licensing process, you have to pay the state, you have to pay all these different things, and now up to $300 extra for the psych eval. Now here's the interesting thing about this. In Murrieta's rules that they state, okay, for getting a CCW, it says that all of your information that you're submitting, and the information is pretty intense. You have to put a lot of information on the application. It says that all of that information may be public knowledge due to some type of information request or public information request. So everything that you're doing in this CCW process in Murrieta might be searchable by the public. So basically it boils down to this, other than the fact that it's completely unconstitutional altogether and wouldn't hold water when it comes to any of the other constitutionally protected rights or rights that we had given by God prior to the Constitution. There's one person who says in one session, as little as one session, maybe two, but as little as one session, they can look at you and say whether or not you're fit to carry, and therefore, if they determine that you're not, basically take your Second Amendment right away from you. That's one person based off of one session and maybe one test determining whether or not you're fit to carry. It does not pass constitutional muster whatsoever. You cannot say that somebody needs a psych eval in order to practice one of their fundamental rights in this country. If you tried to implement that for First Amendment rights, Fourth Amendment, Fifth Amendment rights, it just wouldn't fly. Nobody would buy it. You can't write what you want to write on the internet unless you have a psych eval. You can't say what you want to say in public unless you have a psych eval. You can't do all these, even though it seems a little bit, like the Orwell's future is definitely coming to bear. At least still at this point, that wouldn't fly, right? And so having somebody go through a psych eval is just completely ridiculous. It just doesn't work. And any psychologists or psychiatrists that says that they can evaluate somebody fully in one particular session is out of their mind. It says in the application process they're not giving you a diagnosis. They're just simply trying to figure out whether or not you're fit to carry, but they're going to determine that fast. So it's terrible to see this happen, and apparently it's not the only city in California that's doing this. And as much as California loves to restrict people's Second Amendment rights, it wouldn't surprise me if other cities started following suit. I would see this spreading across the state pretty easily, and obviously it's just another way to tell you no. It's just another way to tell you no, you can't have a permit. Again, it's kind of surprising that it's happening in Murrieta, which used to be, at least when I was there, was pretty conservative. They wouldn't let stuff like this fly in the past, so it's kind of interesting to see that they're allowing it to fly now. This is something that is initiated by the police chief, so the police chief has the authority to stop this from happening, and apparently under Murrieta's city code or law, he has the right to make this happen. Not the right to make this happen, but he has the ability to make this happen under current city law, where they can ask for psych evals for certain things, and they've determined that this is one of those certain things. But it's the city council and the police chief. If you guys live in Murrieta, if somebody's watching this and you're in Murrieta, you need to talk to the city council, you need to talk to the police chief, because what they're doing is unconstitutional. And I'm sure they will tiptoe around it, and they won't talk to you about, its constitutionality, because they know that they're wrong in what they're doing, but it is completely unconstitutional, and it should not be allowed to spread across that state, in which case it's going to spread through other states as well. So it needs to be stopped at an early point, like now. So I wanted to let you guys know that that's going on. Just another terrible thing in the state of California to hopefully try and avoid. So I want to thank you all very much for watching. I do appreciate it. Please like, subscribe. Have a great day.